think we're ready. Hi, you gonna sit? Tootie, sit. Just brought all this dirt over here with you. Sit down. I guess that's as close as you're gonna get to sitting. Just squatting on my lap, you weirdo. Hi friends, welcome to episode 91 of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. My name is Kalisha and you can find me anywhere online as Toni. I am coming to you today from my home in Central Florida, and today is Wednesday, August 7th, I believe. You may see Kiva and Tootie is behind the camera right now. You may see them popping in and out because I told them that they have to stay outside. Get this fresh air and sunshine. So, let's talk about finished objects. The first finished object I am wearing, this is the Summertime Tank by Toni Lipsey of TL Yarn Crafts. Oh, I'm sorry, Kiva, I just punched you in the face. I'm sorry, I got too excited over my shirt. Do you forgive me? I don't know if I'm forgiven. But this is the top. It has a split hem and a V-neck, and I really like it. I made this out of Lion Brand jeans yarn in the Capri colorway, and it took me, I think, about 2.5 balls of that yarn to do the, I want to say I did the second to smallest size or the smallest, one of the two. So yeah, I really like it, but it worked out fine. It fits. I wore it to church on Sabbath with one of my handmade Ankara fabric skirts, and I felt ever so fancy. Yeah, so definitely recommend this top. It was very quick to make. I was moaning about the seaming that I had to do, but turns out that seaming is not really that big a deal. And I just have to, I feel like whenever I have to seam, right, coming up to the seaming, I'm like, oh man, seaming takes so long. I don't want to do it. And then when I'm actually seaming, I'm like, this isn't so bad. And then when I finish, I'm like, that really was pretty easy and went pretty quickly. So I need to remember that was pretty easy and went really quickly the next time I get around to seaming, but that just doesn't stick. So yeah, top is done. I like it. Constance from what is she, Stitching Over the Days? Yarning Over the Days. Stitching Over the Days. Yes. She has the Stitching Over the Days podcast, and she posted on Instagram her yarn choices for making this same top, and she's making a mustard yellow version, and now I kind of feel like I need a mustard yellow version as well. So there might be a second Summertime Tank in the works for me. I just have to find the right mustard yellow. I think maybe I should do like a cotton, because the Lion Brand jeans yarn is acrylic, which is a little bit hot, doesn't really breathe very well at all, even though this is pretty meshy. But yeah, I think I want to do like a mustard yellow cotton version. We shall see. The next finished object that I have is my sample for the Gemini shawl. So none of the ends are woven in. I just finished the edging last night. Haven't blocked it or anything because my blocking mats are currently housing my next finished object, which I will talk about in just a second. So, Where was I? Dog hairs everywhere. It's probably dog hair in my coffee. It's the life I live. Gemini shawl. Here it is, all finished. Like I said, ends are not woven in. And here it is. We've got tip to tip. And it is a bit longer than my wingspan. I have to stretch my arms out just to hold it. But I'm very excited that it's done. Oh my gosh. So now I just have to take pictures of it and it'll be ready to go. I like that this version of Gemini, I used really like low contrast colors in general. And then my first version of Gemini has like really punchy colors. So that was a cool difference to see, like how the pattern works with like colors that are very similar to each other as opposed to colors that are vastly different. So yeah, I just have to weave in these ends and then figure out when I'm gonna be able to take the pictures, because I do want to take pictures of this shawl at Gemini Springs, which is about 45 minutes from where I live, 45 minutes to an hour, I think, from where I live. And I did want to do the pictures of this shawl there because obviously. But since Lamar and I are back down to one car, it is going to take a bit more planning because school is back in. So this past Monday was Lamar's first day back at work. I feel like he didn't get a summer break at all. So much school, so much school. Anyway, so once I get the pictures taken of the Gemini pattern or of the sample, then I will be able to drop that into the pattern. I have a couple more little edits I want to make as I was doing the edging. I made a couple changes. So I just have to update the pattern text, drop those pictures in, and then it'll be ready for publishing because it's already been tested. It's just waiting on me. The next finished object I have, I cannot hold it up and show it to you because it is still drying. And that is my Fading Sky shawl. Fading Sky is a pattern by Sam Hovar, who is also known as Sam Squeak here on YouTube and on Instagram. But this pattern is a moss stitch and lace shawl pattern. It's triangular, very simple, like to memorize or easy to memorize. And I decided to use that pattern for my hand-spun yarn. So I will put a picture up here of the finished shawl. And y'all, I am so proud of this piece because just the fact that I spun all of this yarn with these two hands, and most of the yarn has been spun within the last couple months, except for the green yarn. That was a 2-year-long whip. But I'm very proud of it. At first I had separated out, or I had taken out 4 skeins of my hand spun. I had the green, which was euphoric fibers, the blue tealy color was my own hand dyed fiber, which was 100% wool from Knit Picks. The last fiber in the shawl was the fractal spin that I did. That was some merino fiber that was gifted to me. And the 4th skein I pulled out was the Willamette skein that I spun. I ended up not using the Willamette because I spun it a lot finer than the other ones. So I didn't want to have that like real skinny yarn in the midst of the thicker gauge yarns. So the Willamette lives to chill another day in the stash. I'm actually thinking of dyeing it. because it's the natural white. I think I have it here. I can show it to you. Yeah. This is the Willamette yarn. And since it's that natural white, I was kind of thinking about dyeing it. Maybe I can make something else out of this. I have 128 yards, and it's just under 2 ounces of fiber. So yeah, I really enjoyed crocheting the fading sky shawl. I did run into a problem, and I think that it was because of the yarn that I was using and the gauge. If you watched the vlog that I put up last Friday, you would see that I was talking about a particular part where there was like a dip between when you go from the moss stitch into the lace. There was a really like ugly dip from as I was crocheting it. So I ended up like ripping out and restarting that shawl a good 5 times before I decided to skip the first row of the lace instructions and go to the second row. Once I did that, it lined up perfectly along the edge. So like I said, I feel like it was like the yarn that I was using, because it wasn't a completely consistent yarn, which is the nature of hand-spun, at least for me. I think that's what was really causing that problem. So that was the only modification that I made. I skipped the first row of the lace, went to the second row of the lace, and still worked the correct number of rows, just starting at that second row, and everything worked out from there. I have no leftover yarn, because all of the like extra yarn that I had, because I stopped the colors at the end of the rows when I didn't have enough to complete another row. All of the extra yarn that I have, I put into the tassels. So I'm super excited to use this shawl. One thing though that I did realize about using hand-spun is that it's heavy, and I'm not entirely sure why, but the actual weight of the piece, like it's a very weighty piece, and like I was saying, originally I had the 4 skeins that I was going to do, and I took out 1, so I made it with the 3 skeins, and then I was looking at it, I wrapped it around myself, and it just wasn't as big as I wanted it to be. So I spun another fractal skein, because I had 2 4-ounce bundles of that gradient. So I just spun the second one into a fractal, and it turns out I spun it a lot thicker than the first one, like by a lot. I wrote down, where is it? Okay, so the first time I spun the fractal, I had 164 yards in 4 ounces. The second time I had about 137 yards in 4 ounces. So it was quite a bit thicker. But luckily for me, it was not thick enough to throw off the shape of the shawl or to really be that noticeable. So hooray. So yeah, it's all done. It's in the front yard right now, sitting in the sun, drying, because I did try to dry it yesterday, but literally every time I put anything yarn related outside, it started raining, and then I would bring that thing inside and it would stop raining. Florida kind of hates me, but it's alright. We gonna keep it moving. Okay guys, oh my gosh. Look at this beauteousness. I cannot handle this at all. Like, I just pranced through the house with this shawl on. No shame. Give him a shimmy. Let me just... Oh my Lanta, look at it. It's just giving me all of the happy feels. And look at my tassels. Hold on, let me get them together. Look at my tassels. Yep. Wasted no yarns left behind. So excited. I am out of breath. I cannot breathe. I'm so excited. But yes, so look at that gorgeousness. So the first, let's hold it like this. So the first fractal skein ended here, I think. Yeah, like where that bright line is. So I'm very glad that I added on to it. I didn't do any particular edging. I just stopped when I ran out of yarn. So yeah, guys, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, and guess what? It's still a little bit damp. This yarn at the top is merino bamboo nylon, I think, and this just does not dry. Everything else is dry. This is the 100% wool, wool of the Andes roving, and then this is the merino. We're assuming it's 100% merino. That's dry. This though, not so much. Yes. I am so proud of this. That's everything for finished objects. I have one work in progress, which you guys would have seen last episode. It's not really in any different progress. It hasn't progressed much from where it was last time. So this is my second sock for the Brothers Not Twins socks. That is a pattern by Diane, and I have finished the cuff and worked, I believe this is 3 rows of the pattern. So it's a cable pattern. I feel like it's heavily cabled compared to any other cabling that I've done on socks. This is the finished one, so you guys can get an idea of what the cable pattern looks like. So that is what I'm working on. I think in here I did 4 pattern repeats, and then the 5th repeat I only did on the front. So that's what I'm going to be doing on here. I've slowed down a lot on this particular project just because I am not really feeling like doing cables right now. So yeah, get off my stuff, Ant. That's the only thing I have for works in progress. Next up, we'll jump into Maker Plan, which I will be using this yarn. This is Loops and Threads Wool-like in the black and golden yellow colorways. I am going to be making the Hogwarts A History sweater by Regan, who is also known as Bad Wolf Girl or her podcast is Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits. I've had this pattern in my library for quite a while, and I really wanted to make like a Harry Potter sweater because I feel like, why not, right? And I wanted to try color work, and she just makes it look so easy. So I'm gonna try it. I've already swatched. I'm kind of ready to go. I'm a little bit nervous, but the yellow is going to be my main body color, and the color work I'm going to do in the black because I'm a Hufflepuff. And I've picked out the color work motifs I want to use, like from her instruction, and now I just have to start. Like I said, I'm a little bit scared because I've never done a fingering weight sweater before. I don't think I have knit myself a sweater before. I've crocheted myself plenty sweaters, but I don't think I have knit one. I kind of feel like a fingering weight colorwork sweater as your first adult sweater might be biting off more than I can chew, but if I do just a little bit at a time, it should be fine, right? Just a little bit at a time. Like one of my friends said, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Elephant. So yes. I will put up a picture of the sweater so you guys like get an idea of what it looks like if you have not seen it yet. So yeah, that's everything for maker plans. Let's talk about stash positions, which I don't really have anything interesting for stash positions. I had to buy the black yarn. I've had this gold yarn in my stash for like probably close to a year, honestly. I bought one skein of it. Yes, it was close to a year because I bought this when Lamar and I went to New Orleans last July. So it's been a year and change. I bought the one, and then I was like, oh man, like I should buy some more. But of course they don't have this colorway in any of my local stores. So I ended up having to order it online. So I have 4 balls of this, and then I got 1 ball of the black. So that's not a fun stash position. This is the other thing that I got for stash positions, and I bought it because it was sparkly and it just captured my fancy. This is Summer Nights by Lion Brand in the colorway Castaway. It is 7 ounces or 200 grams, 875 yards, 82% acrylic, 18% polyester. So, and it's a super fine. Like I said, I bought this because it was sparkly and I liked it and it captured my eye and I had a coupon. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. Maybe make some sort of shawl. I think that would be really pretty as a shawl. And it's just giving me all of like the celestial vibes. So who knows? Maybe this will be like the next space theme design I come up with. Who knows? These ants are getting really rowdy. And that's it for stashquisitions. So we will go on into Kalisha and the Babe. The first thing that I mentioned, and I spoke about this earlier, was the second fractal spin that I did for my, like, to finish out my Fading Sky shawl. There isn't anything else I wanted to say about it. One thing that I do want to practice is when I was, for the fractal, you split the fiber in half, and then you keep one half, like you just spin that whole bit top to bottom. The other half you split up into however many smaller sections you want, like split them top to bottom, and then you spin them end to end like that. That way you have one long color repeat and then shorter color repeats. I ended up splitting it into 7. I'm not entirely sure how I managed to do that because I thought I was splitting them evenly. Evidently not. But yeah, so I had 7 short gradients and then the 1 long. And when I was spinning the long one, I found that I was having difficulty spinning evenly across that big chunk of fiber, so I do need to practice that. Yeah, and obviously I was having a hard time spinning it evenly because I managed to spin it like, I feel like that was like the thickest I had spun anything. So, and maybe it was because I was rushing through that because I wanted to finish the shawl. So I was like, I just have to finish this spin. That was that. That's not how I sound when I spin. Promise. But the next thing that is up on the docket for spinning is sweating in this bag. Let me let you sit outside a little bit. This is a bat that I got from Hopkins Fiber Studio. I will show you. Look at that beautifulness. This is going to give me like all of the fall like vibes and love, considering Florida does not have fall. Florida said fall, what? No. So yes, this is an all the things bat. It has merino, wool fleece, Angelina, Firestar, Teeswater, Silk Noil, and Corriedale, and it is a 2.2 ounce bat. You would have seen this if you watched like a few weeks ago I did a vlog, and I showed this when I first got it. So I will open it up for you. Oh my gosh, you are so pretty. Oh my goodness. I'm definitely gonna have to take a picture of this just to memorialize this texture. So yeah, as I just said that I am having trouble spinning from like large chunks of fiber, what I think I'm gonna do with this is just strip it down, just pinch a bit and rip it off and spin from that, and then just like work my way across the whole bat. I think that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm really excited to work with this. Oh my gosh, it's just so gorgeous. This is gonna be my first time spinning a bat, so wish me luck. Send me successful spinning vibes. And yeah, so that is what's going to be next up on, if you can hear Tootie screaming in the house, I don't know what she's yelling at. She's just yelling. That's what's going to be next up on my wheel. Another project that I want to get back into is this spin that I started a couple months ago, and it is using plastic bags. If you're anything like me, whenever you go to the grocery store and they give you your groceries in a bazillion plastic bags, even if you tell them, oh, you can like condense them into, you end up with a collection, and that collection might live under your sink or in the pantry or something like that. But there is a plethora of plastic bags if your household is anything like me or like mine. So I decided that I wanted to recycle these plastic bags, and I didn't want to just like put them in the recycling and be like, good job. I wanted to make something out of them. Now, not a couple years, this was quite a few years ago. This was like probably between 7 and 8 years ago. I fused plastic bags together using my iron. Like you get, and it works with certain plastic bags. I was using the plastic bags from Target, and you get, I want to say it was like parchment paper, and then you put your layers of plastic bags, and you put another layer of parchment paper, and then you iron it, and the plastic bags will melt together and make like a thick plastic fabric. And I fused together quite a few plastic bags and then made like a tote bag, which was super cute. Don't know what happened to it. It's gone. But I wanted to do the same kind of, not the same kind of idea, but the same spirit. And so I started spinning my plastic bags. To prepare them for spinning, I made plastic roving, which essentially, I took the plastic bags, I smoothed them out flat. I took my rotary cutter, which you could also use scissors, but I felt the rotary cutter made it easier for me to see where I was cutting, and the plastic bag didn't move as much. But I cut the handles off. Really? No wind until just now? I cut the handles off, and then I cut the seam at the bottom off, so then I had a long loop of plastic. And then I folded it, I folded it this way, and then cut like this in strips. So I kind of made a fringe, but you don't cut all the way across. Then I will put a picture showing which direction you cut the next, which direction you do the next cut, which will give you a continuous spiral of plastic. So once I had that continuous spiral, I spun it just like you would spin any other roving. And you can see that it's just like that. And it makes like a twine kind of texture. And I was finding that as I was spinning, if you overspin it, of course it'll break. So I had to kind of feel out where the best point was as far as spinning this. I am spinning this on my larger whirl. I don't remember what the ratio of this one is, but this is the largest whirl that I have for my wheel. And yeah, so my plan with this is to finish spinning the singles out of all of the plastic bags that I have pulled aside, and these are all Publix bags because I didn't want to have random colors in it. And then depending on how much, actually not depending, I am going to ply it, because even after it's spun, if you pull on it, you can still stretch it out and break the single. So I think that it will be best to go and ply it back on itself once I finish. So that is a project that has been languishing for a little bit because I started doing the spinning for Tour de Fleece. But now that that's all over and the spins are done, for all of my active spins are done, I'll be able to get back to that. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing like one of those market bags, like mesh market bags type things with it. And I'm also thinking of using all of the plastic yarn in just the bag body and then doing a fabric strap. I feel like that would be the best way to go about it. Or not necessarily the best way, but the most comfortable way to go about it. Because I feel like if I made straps with the plastic yarn as well, that's just not going to be comfortable. So yeah. And that is everything, guys. I don't have anything for Life and Whatnot. Yeah, I don't have anything for Life and Whatnot. I am working today. We have a very busy evening at the studio, which is fine. I guess I would prefer it to be busy because then you're not just sitting around. But sometime today I'm feeling pretty good, but the last couple days I've been kind of low. So I guess I do have stuff for Life and Whatnot. Look at that. I haven't been wanting to like people, and not wanting to people is like not the best headspace to be in when you're a photographer and you have to make little people smile. So it just makes it that much more exhausting. But I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Yeah. Yesterday, Anxious Kalisha was having a field day. She was having a freaking field day in my head. And I say anxious Kalisha because I visualize like my mental self-talk as like, you know how in cartoons they have like the angel and devil on your shoulder? That's kind of how I have personified my self-talk. So there's like anxious Kalisha, like anxious, emotional, blah Kalisha, and then there's like rational Kalisha. Yesterday, anxious Kalisha was like, this is my time. I'm about to just bring all the anxiety. Like, nobody likes you, everybody hates you. I guess you should go eat worms, kind of thing. And it's kind of funny and annoying when that voice gets amplified in my head, because I know that it's not true statements. I know that, but that doesn't help to silence it, right? But I guess it's good that at least I'm able to recognize that voice and recognize that, okay, I hear you, I acknowledge your presence, you're lying, have a nice day. Sometimes I'm super successful with being like, and just shutting her up and putting her in the corner and telling her to chill out. And sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I just want to get back in the bed and curl up and just not face the day at all. Yesterday, I feel like I was kind of in the middle. The day before that was just weird. But yesterday, I did not get back in the bed. So I count that as a massive win. So, yeah. Today I'm feeling a lot better. And I hope you're having a good day as well. That's everything. Look at us with a podcast under an hour. Woo-hoo. That's because I don't have anything to really talk about. Yes. So, wish me luck with my colorwork sweater, because I am scared. Wish me luck with getting Gemini all finalized and out to you guys, because I know there's quite a few Geminis who watch this podcast and have been excited for the Gemini shawl. So that is, it's finished and ready, and I'm proud of myself because I filmed a tutorial for how to do the join. That's the back. I filmed a tutorial, don't drop it in your coffee, on how to do this join, which is the last section of the shawl, the last part of the shawl patterning. And I'm proud of myself for actually filming that tutorial. I'm also proud of myself for figuring out how to set my iPad up above my hands. But yeah. I hope you're having a good day. Thank you for being here. Leave comments down below of positive things that have happened to you today, this week, whenever, and share those bright spots. Of course, I always encourage you guys to read through the comments, celebrate with each other on your bright spots, because good things are happening in the midst of tragedy. And you know, if you're in the US, you know, we've had a few mass shootings. Again, I just don't get it. I do not understand. if you let it, this world will bring you down. So I hope that you are able to find those moments of sunshine that you can use as flotation devices in this world. And whenever we are able to find those moments that we can use as flotation devices, we need to share them with others, because people around you are drowning. And if we're able to get on something, if we're able to find something to buoy us up, then we should be able to use that to help buoy somebody else up. And yeah, look out for each other. So thank you guys so much for being a part of my universe. Sending you all so much love, and have a wonderful day.